welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be my collection of completed pages in all my Hanna Karlzon books. As you can see, I don't have a full collection. However, I do have 5 Hanna Karlzon books and I love coloring in her designs and her illustrations. I think that she's just got such a fun and easy approach to adult coloring, and I've really enjoyed coloring in her books. So I'm gonna start off with Tales from the Midnight Masquerade and kind of work my way down to my biggest book, which is Magical Dawn. It has the most completed pages in it, and we will go kind of like my 2 least maybe my 3 least, but we'll work it out. So, Tales from the Midnight Masquerade by Hanna Karlzon. I have several in here. This isn't one of the books that I color in often, but I do have a couple of completed pages in here. I just have to find them. Here we go. Okay, so this is one. Here I did a watercolor background. I started coloring with polychromos pencils, but I wasn't really liking how it was turning out, so I brought out my Prismas and kind of wove it from there. And I really like how she turned out in the end. Really, really cool. And I think the background really helps a lot with this page. I wanted to keep her, you know, that red from the Queen of Hearts, yet I also wanted her to be vibrant and attractive. And yeah, I think that she looks quite striking, so very pleased with how she turned out. Then the last 2 pages I have completed are these ones. Now here I did both pages as kind of a double page spread. And I drew a lot of heavy inspiration from Shamanella art over on Instagram. I loved her interpretation where she had the one was the moon and the one was the sun. And I used, I think it was Inktense pencils for the background, followed by a whole lot of white Posca pen. Then I think I colored this with polychromos. If I remember rightly, I do these pages on the channel, so I will find them and link them either in the description below or up in the right-hand corner. Over here on her dress, I put Dovecraft glitter glue, and I used diamond drills to kind of make it pop. And then down here, I used 3D pearl effects. A whole lot of white Posca pen, as you can see. I did try stick on stars, but they've been falling off. Over here was a lot of pencil work. I think it was polys, definitely polys for the hair. A lot of Posca pen. And yeah, I really like how she turned out. My whip in this book is this one here. And the background didn't come out as beautifully as the other page, and I still need to finish her. But I got a bit stuck on what kind of color combo to give her, because you've got, I think this one is spades and this one's is hearts. So the Queen of Spades and then the Queen of Hearts. So maybe I got their color combos the wrong way around. I'm not sure what I did. But yeah, I really like her. I'm not sure what I'm doing here with her, and I'm not very happy with her eyelashes, but I don't know how to fix that right now. So that is all I have done in Tales from the Midnight Masquerade by Hanna Karlzon. Then I have Tales from the City Among the Stars, and I've only done 1 page in here. And it is this page. Here I used Neocolor 2s for pretty much everything inside here. It was very quick. White Posca pen, and then I used Prismacolor pencils for the border. I think I might have touched up a few places with pencil, but the bulk of this is actually just Neocolor 2s. So I really liked how it turned out, and I like the border. I think it looks really great as opposed to, you know, gold or silver. I like the light shades of blues in it. So, yeah. Wasn't a bad start, and it was quite quick, which was really fun. So that is Tales from the City Among the Stars by Hanna Karlzon. And then I have Tales from the Forest Kingdom. Now here I've done quite a bit. So over here on the mushrooms, I tested my polychromos and really enjoyed how they worked on this paper. So then I was inspired, after putting a whole lot of Posca pen, to do this section with polychromos pencils as well. And then I've used gel pen between the beads. And that's about it. Not much more really. But really liked the gentleness and the softness of the page. I have got a plan for this one. I've had multiple plans. And I recently saw a picture on Instagram with a similar concept, and I just fell in love with it. So I'm now trying to work out how I can combine my two ideas for this page into one. Right, then here is my double page spread, which is also up on the channel as a color along or a color in chat. I use Inktense for the background. It might have used watercolor paints for this side of the background. I based quite a bit with, no, I didn't base. I just did the grass. I used a whole lot of polys, and I think here and there I used Prismas. I used a lot of Dovecraft glitter glue, which is very similar to stickles. It's just stickles are a lot more expensive. So on the frog and the jewelry, on the flowers here, I've put diamond drills, a lot of white Posca pen, on the house here, that shine you can see is Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. And then, yeah, more Dovecraft glitter glue. So I tried a bit of a mixed media approach on this page, and I really loved how it turned out. It was a bit of a labor of love, but it was well worth it. And then I have this page, which I think is also up on the channel. And I used Inktense pencils. I went over it with, I think, Prismas. Then I've got Dovecraft glitter glue on the potion sand thing and on the stopper. I've glued on stars. And yeah, I used a lot of white Posca pen around here. Actually, what happened was my Posca pen leaked, and then I had to use a paintbrush to kind of spread it out. But it gives it a cool kind of glow effect. Then we have this beautiful girl. I think I called her the Berry Girl. And she is up on the channel also as a color along. And with her, I used Prismacolor pencils because I recognize this combination here with the berries. Watercolor paint for the background. Most likely polys for the hair, maybe. It was a mixture of Prismas and polys. But I like how she turned out. She's very pretty, very gentle. Sometimes it's really nice to just color gentle portraits. Then I have this page here, which is Neocolor 2s in the background. I managed to splatter paints. I've got gold foil here along the ring. And my approach with gold foil is still quite messy. White Posca pen inside this like orb here is Dovecraft glitter glue. I think I used Prismas here. I may have used Polly's, I can't remember. I've used Spectrum Noir Sparkle on her wings. Yeah, she was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed the depth of color I got with her. That was really encouraging. Then over here, I have a web, and I was using Neocolor 2s in the background, but then I decided I didn't like the background, and I froze and I walked away. So yeah, I haven't come back to this page yet. I think I'm just feeling really anxious about the background, but I've been using Polly's, so yeah, I was doing quite a bit with Polly's at that time. I need to do so much more in here. Okay, so then here I did attempt a 45-minute coloring challenge. So it was a hashtag over on Instagram in 2023. I didn't get to submit my page, but I did film myself coloring this in 45 minutes. And basically in 45 minutes, this is how much I can color. And I didn't get to develop the color as much as I would like. I didn't get to add any embellishments or anything. It is just straight polychromos pencils. So yeah, it's encouraging actually though to know that if I really wanted to, I could color that fast. So I've kept it the way it is because I wanted to kind of be incomplete as a reminder of what is possible in 45 minutes. And then we have this one, and here I was trying to go for a misty magical background. It wasn't overly successful. I've used Neocolor 2s in the background, possibly white paint for here. I tried to create a swirl, but again that wasn't very successful. I lathered it with Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen, and on the mushrooms here is Dovecraft glitter glue, and then I've got gold paint, acrylic gold paint, and I really like the color palette. It really looks great. I think it was a really fun experiment. I just wasn't able to execute the background as well as I'd like, or the like swirl in the swirly portal. This is also up on the channel, so you can go check out the Hanna Karlzon playlist, and you should find a lot of these pages available there. Now, this one isn't on the channel. I did this one off camera. I did a basing, I think, with graphite on the trees, possibly the grass. I used pencils for the sky, and then I went over the sky with Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen, and there's Sakura Stardust Glitter Pen for those yellow stars. I've used the Spectrum Noir Sparkle on these stars down here, and I really enjoyed working with light source, and this was one of my earlier attempts back in, I think, 2023, and I was trying to work on light source and really focusing on where the light shone on what places. So yeah, by playing around you kind of start learning what works and what doesn't. And I also wanted to really show that they'd caught stars and the stars were alive and vibrant. So I did use a whole lot of gel pen, but yeah, really think it came out really sweet. I really had fun with that one. And that is the end. So that is all my completed pages for Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hanna Karlzon. Then I have Seasons, also by Hanna Karlzon. This is a more recent addition to my collection. I only have one completed page, and it is my Easter page. And here we have Neocolor 2s for the background and the sand. Then I use the Neocolor 2s as a base on the daffodils, but my pencils didn't work very well on top of them, and I had to work really hard to deepen up my shadows and keep my highlights. I'm really pleased with how the daffodils turned out. I think they've got a lot of dimension to them. I used a little bit of gel pen over here on the ribbon and a bit on the crowns, but not too much. It's mainly white Posca pen and Prismacolor pencils on top of a Neocolor to background and base. So yeah, that is everything in Seasons by Hanna Karlzon. And finally, I have Magical Dawn. This is the first book I bought, and it was the book that kickstarted my coloring journey. Initially, I used Castle Art pencils only because that's all I had, and over time, I was able to grow my coloring supplies, and I got Prismacolor pencils, Neocolor 2s, and a few other things. Initially, I didn't really step out into a mixed media approach. I didn't really combine Inktense with pencils or other things, and I really was very much a pencil girl. And you're going to see a lot of that in my early pages. But I'm not going to go through and find all my early pages first up to now. I'm just going to show you from beginning to the end what I've colored. I've colored under 40 pages already in this book over the past 4 years, almost 5. I really want to complete this book, so there is a strong drive in me to finish this book. But without any further ado, let's show you. So here I used some Neocolor 2s for the background and Prismacolor pencils for the frog. Now I followed Zucchini Kitty's tutorial for this page, which is in a different page, and I just changed the colors. The glittery stuff is Dovecraft glitter glue, which is easier and cheaper for me to get than Stickles, and then black Posca pen. So yeah, I really thought it was a lot of fun and had a lot of fun doing it. Then here I tested out my Neocolor 2s and had a lot of fun with them. So I think it was mostly Neocolor 2s with a bit of white Posca pen. This page is Neocolor 2 background and then a whole lot of pencils. I used also a lot of white gel pen and other gel pens just to create texture, make everything look pretty. So I love the boldness and the vibrancy of this page, and I really love my rainbow sand. This is one of my early double page spreads. Here I use Munyo pastels for the background, white Posca pen for the stars. I use Dovecraft glitter glue and 3D pearl effects for the embellishments. The idea with this page was to have a red dress going into a green, which is why I tried to balance the red here with red leaves and then the green leaves brought over onto the side of the dress. And the idea, I think, is sweet, but the execution is lacking because it's too very striking. It doesn't have a gradual weave from the green into the red, and that is because at this time I didn't know to take my lightest colors from the red and the green, bring that together, and then deepen out. So yeah, live and learn, but I was very pleased with this one. Here I have a Scola Tempera paint background with white Posca paint. I started this moth with Castle Art pencils, but I was really struggling to finish the page. And then I got my Prismacolor pencils as a birthday present, which was really, really surprising and lovely. And I was able to finish the page using those Prismacolor pencils. It was also one of the first pages where I really started to play around with lighter shades and try and create more white in my colorings instead of just dark colors. On this page here with the flowers, I used Neocolor 2s in the background, white Posca pen, a little bit of black Posca pen here, and some Dovecraft glitter glue up on the bee, or not the bee, the moth. Everything else is Prismacolor pencils. I was very proud of this page back in 2021. What I didn't see then, but I see now, is that the highlights of my flowers actually blends into the background, and the flower kind of loses its strikingness, which is a bit of a pity. So I would probably redo the background, or I would redo the blue flowers, one of the two. Everything else is nice. Then this is one of my first portraits I did back in 2020 using only Castle Art pencils. The smoke and the stars out of her mouth are all in Inktense. Everything else is Castle Arts. There is some white Posca for embellishments on her hair and her jewelry. At this time, I was also watching Zucchini Kitty's channel and learning from her how to color portraits. I did have some understanding, but I needed something to help me go from not having a specific reference photo to interpreting the page. And it was very useful. Then almost a year later, I colored this page with Posca paint in the background, stick-on stars, and I used Prismacolor Premier pencils, a lot of white Posca pen for the highlights. I used, I think, gold paint for the gold stars in here, and then 3D Pearl Effects for the background dots. And yeah, I was very pleased with how my hourglass turned out. It was my first attempt at an hourglass, and I was pretty proud of how it turned out. Then here I have a Posca pen into a black ink background, and I was trying a whole lot of stuff on this page. It wasn't working. I ended up getting some cheap paint pens, well, paint pens. And I finished the page with paint pens, and I really don't like it. It was a complete mess, as you can see by the border, which is me still trying to cover it up. It was just a huge mess. So that's like a failed page. Over here we have a phoenix. Background is Posca paint pen with white Posca pen on top, and then the whole bird is just Castle Art pencils. And as you can see, it really does work. I mean, Castle Arts on the Hanna Karlzon paper is very effective. You can really do a lot with them. So if you have Castle Arts, don't give up on them. You can get beautiful results, I promise. Here I try to do autumn, summer, spring. I actually wanted to draw them in vases, but I didn't quite visualize how to do that. And then the background is distress ink, and I sprayed it to try and get that mottled effect. Up here I was a bit too heavy-handed, which is why it bled through on this page. So I'll have to fix that. This is a whip, and it will be a long-standing whip until I get the courage to try do beautiful cats. Okay, then this page here is oil paint in the background. I think I started it with Castle Art pencils, and I finished it with Prismacolor. So some places it's Castle Art, other places it's Prismacolor. I've got Dovecraft glitter glue for embellishments on the bees, white Posca pen in places, Spectrum North sparkle pen on the jewels. In the end, I was just glad I got this done. And this is a great example of a more analogous color palette. Then here, this is another early work. I used chalk pastels for the background, and then a variety of pencils for the heart, including Arteza, I think Prismacolor, Castle Arts. It was a mixture of pencils and I was really struggling. So yeah, 3D pearl effects all over the place. So I think some white, no, not white, well, white gel pen here and black pen everywhere else. All right, this is an old whip that I am currently working on. And you can already see here some of the differences in how I am doing my portraits compared to how I started. And yeah, so foil on all the jewelry. Can't clean it up here, so I'll have to paint over that. Prismacolor pencils. I think it was black paints. Might have been black acrylic paint for the background or black Posca. White paint, stick on stars. And all I need to do now is just finish her clothing and then the jewelry, which I'm not really sure what to do. I might have to do pink jewelry. I'm not sure. Maybe emerald. If you have any suggestions on how I can do the jewelry, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so this is the second page. I don't really like how I finished it. It was also a very long-standing whip. I had an idea, wasn't a very good idea. I tried to change it, but not what's the right word? I didn't want to throw the color palette and completely mess it up. So I went for this bluey purple, and in the process, I've unbalanced the page because it's very purple heavy up here and not enough purple down here. I've used Gamzai Tambi pearl colors on the background to try create it a bit more mystical and magical. And then a lot of white Posca paint. I've used Sakura metallic silver here and other places. So it's not the worst thing in the whole wide world, but it's definitely not something I'm going yay for. Then this page here, I was experimenting with washi tape in the background, and I used Prismacolor pencils, and then all the glittery stuff is Dovecraft glitter glue. And I loved how this page turned out. It was exactly how I envisioned it, with the exception of the music notes going in all funny, weird directions. But the purpose behind what I was trying to achieve, I got what I was trying to go for. So I do like that page. Then I have this page. Now, this is a whole crown of gold foil with a tea bag stained background that I covered up with eyeshadow. And then I used some gel pen over here, white Posca pen, Prismacolor pencils, and then Dovecraft glitter glue on the flowers. And the whole idea, I wanted to reverse the concept where generally it's green leaves and colored flowers. So I tried to go the opposite way and make colored leaves and green flowers. That was the idea. Decided that never again am I doing a whole crown in gold foil or silver foil or any foil. It is super shiny. Okay, then this is a whip, Neocolor to background, and Prismacolor pencils. This heart is up on the channel as a color along or a color in chat. This is a watercolor background, and everything else has got pencil with a little bit of gel pen here and there and white Posca pen. And I took inspiration from a page I saw on Pinterest with a jeweled heart and this sort of a background. So I really enjoyed that. Then this is one of my more recent works. I used gouache in the background with black Posca pen between all these like stones. A lot of Sakura gel pen on the moths, the jewelry, a lot of white Posca pen, Prismacolor pencils, and overall I'm very pleased with how it turned out. I just really love this page because I tried a lot of different things and it was a lot of fun to do. I have a lot of positive feelings and memories with this page, and I love that I stepped outside of myself to try something new, something out there, and I actually don't mind whether it's a success or not because the feelings that go with it so outweigh it. Then I have this page here, which is Galaxy White Lines. So watercolor in the background, and then I use Prismacolor pencils to try and build the facial features of the portrait and just make her stand out a bit more. And then obviously everything is outlined in white gel pen and or white Posca pen. So yeah, I had fun with this one. It was also very quick, and I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do with this picture. So using it as a Galaxy White Lines just made it easier for me. Then here I've done watercolor paint in the background, Inktense pencils, some gold Sakura jelly roll on the flowers. The bubbles are outlined in white Posca pen, and I use Prismacolor pencils to color the bubbles. The bubbles are a tutorial up on the channel, so if you are interested, you can check that out in the beginner tutorials playlist. This was the very first portrait I colored in 2020. I hadn't colored portraits in a long time, so it was fun to bring what I understood back in, and it was also really fun to watch tutorials and try and improve myself. So it's a lot more grainy than I would like nowadays, but I use only Castle Art pencils on here. There's nothing else except some white Posca pen, and I love how she turned out. Even today, when I look at this page, I still love the vibrancy. I love that there is a gentleness on her as a woman, but you still have the attempts at shading. I also really love how I did her hair, and it was also a very good way for me to practice pushing certain things into the background and bringing certain things into the foreground. And I understood that I didn't want everything to be front and center. So I shaded less these flowers and I shaded more the feathers to give me that saturation I was looking for. And I think it went out really well. This page here took me a while to finish. It's Inktense. No, sorry, not Inktense. It's Distress ink in the background. I did follow Zucchini Kitty's tutorial. I tried to change the colors up a bit to make it my own. I think in the end, though, I gave up and I just followed along. So I've got Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen on the jar, on the gem, black Posca pen, Dovecraft glitter glue on here, and this is the same as the first page which I showed you. I just changed the colors. So it was fun. Once I sat down and just finished it, it was a lot of fun. Right, then here, this is a newer work. I finished this in November last year. It had been started with Castle Arts in this sort of section here by someone else, and it took me a long time to figure out how to complete this page. But I managed, and I stuck to the color combos. Well, I stuck to their colors here, and I just tried to combine it into different colors. I lathered the butterfly with Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. I've got Sakura paint pen in the center of the flowers, the jewelry here, Dovecraft glitter glue here, and 3D pearl effects, and some white Posca paint pen. So I'm very proud with this one because I was actually able to pull off something pretty cool. All right, then my latest completed page is this one. And here I use Posca pen in the background, metallic Sakura gel pen for the center, and along the moth's jewelry, white Posca paint pen and Prismacolor pencils, and obviously black Posca pen. The start is already up on the channel. I have filmed the entire process, including my mistakes and how I fixed them, and I will be editing that as soon as I possibly can to get it up on the channel for you. So you will be able to watch or color along, whichever one you fancy, and see my process. I don't really talk much in those videos because it's been quite noisy in our house, so it's been a bit tricky. However, I try put up on the screen the walkthrough of what pencils I'm using and when. Fortunately, the main process of how I address things is already up on the live stream I did when I started this page. So if you watch that first and then watch the other two videos, you will still get the main ideas of how I handled everything. Okay, moving on. Here is another early page, both of these. So this was done in 2020 and this was done in 2021. Again, here I'm only using Castle Art pencils. I tried to do a background. I can't remember if I used pencil or what. I think I used pencil. Here I think I used possibly chalk pastel in the background on this page. Both with Castle Art pencils and both have Dovecraft glitter glue. So I'll show you the fish first. And a little bit of white Posca pen for highlights. And here you can see the portrait. And I really loved that I did blue hair, although it was a bit of a challenge to decide on the background because of the blue hair. In the end, though, it turned out okay. This is a whip, which I hope to finish soon. And then here on this page, I have also done this, most of it up on the channel. All the jewelry section is done with foil, so silver foil, gold foil, a bit in the background. The background is watercolor paints, and then I've got white gel pen, and the pencil work is Prismacolor pencils. And this one is, I think, Distress, no, not Distress, Neocolor 2's in the background. I tried to draw in a bit more so that it didn't look too dull. Prismacolor pencils for, I think, everything. And then the Dovecraft glitter glue. And a lot of white Posca. So yeah, I like how she turned out. Then this page was me following along Zucchini Kitty, but I changed the color combo. The background is, I think, a Neocolor 2 background with gold paint on it. And a lot of Dovecraft glitter glue, black Posca pen, white Posca pen. I don't like how the background turned out. I needed to put gold splatters because something had gone wrong and I had to fix it. All right, then here we have another portrait. This one I finished in 2023. I used watercolors for the background. I didn't want to do all the flowers, so I used a gradient from green into blue, and I focused mainly on the girl. Now, her hair is polychromos, I think. Looks like polychromos. Everything else will be Prismacolor pencil. And I challenged myself to not do a gold crown. I've got gel pens, Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen, and I think 3D pearl colors in places. So yeah. In the end, she turned out okay. I really did enjoy her. Took me a long time to finish though. Then this one was finished in 2021. I used, I think it might have been Inktense for the background. I think. I followed a Zucchini Kitty tutorial for the eyes of the cat. I tried to do something different with the wings. I didn't work out. Yeah, I think the moon is Neocolor 2s. I either use Neocolor 2s or Inktense pencils for the background. I can't remember which one. Then here was my first attempt at a galaxy background, and I think it came out really, really great. I got really carried away with the different colors, which made coloring the portrait a bit tricky, especially the hair. And I ended up choosing the colors I did, and I hated it. I struggled. I don't like green hair. I really don't. So to color green hair was very difficult. Here you can see I tried makeup. At one stage, I wanted to glue the pages shut. I wanted to throw everything away. I was almost ready to throw the entire book away. I was so frustrated with the process, and I hated it that much. But my closest friend and my husband both encouraged me to persevere. So I listened, and I did, and I'm glad I did. I used a lot of white Posca paint. There's some 3D, no, not 3D. There's some Dovecraft glitter glue. I've got gold paint, acrylic paint for accents in the hair. And yeah, this was one of those times where I confronted myself in my art. And I think that in itself is why I cherish this page, because it stopped becoming about the coloring and it became me wrestling with me and overcoming myself. But I was very, very proud of the background. And I don't know if I've been able to pull off such a beautiful background since, as far as galaxy backgrounds go. Okay, here I have Neocolor 2s in the background, Inktense pencils for the majority of the page, except her skin. And the moon is Gamzai Tambi pearl colors. I use Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen for the glittery on the fish, just to make it look like they were glistened. White Posca pen, and then here all these little circles are diamond drills. I glued on stars. Some places they've come off, other places they've stayed. And then I've done her jewelry with Sakura gel pen. Then here it was another whip. So I started this shell with 3D Pearl Effects and Dovecraft glitter glue with Castle Arts. Then I finished it with Prismacolor pencils. I think I used paint, watercolor paint in the background, and then I sponged on white acrylic paint. And yeah, it's turned from a page I hated to a page I completed and like the result. So that was a win. This is a whip, one of my first attempts at dark skin. I really like how her face has turned out. I need to work more on finishing this page and then fixing the background. The background hasn't turned out the way I wanted, so I need to rethink it. And then here is another page. So Neocolor 2 is in the background, Castle Art pencils for the pencil work, and Dovecraft glitter glue. My younger son at the time, he selected my Castle Art pencils, gave them to me and said, color this page with these pencils. So I did. Black Posca pen along here, and then this was also the page where I started to realize the importance of white highlights. So that was another important step for me. Then here we have a Neocolor 2 background with gold acrylic paints, Castle Art pencils for the outside of the apple, and then I finished everything off with Prismacolor pencils and white Posca pen. And then I've got some gel pen up on the beetle as well. And overall, I'm very, very pleased with how this has turned out. Well, there you are, everyone. Those are all my pages in my Hanna Karlzon books. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have liked this video, please do share it with other people you think would enjoy this channel. And please do subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. It really does help the algorithm boost my channel and get it out there to other people interested in coloring. And I look forward to hearing from you. As always, everyone, thank you so much and have a happy week coloring and doing all things creative. Until next time, bye for now.